My name is Ellie. It wasn't me being inconsistent. I'd struggle with things, keeping up with it, losing focus. But it wasn't me. It was my ADHD. This is a space for self-growth, healing, and honest conversations. If you're growing, healing, or just figuring things out, you're in the right place. Hey guys, so in today's video, we're going to talk about ADHD and consistency and how I keep going. So number one point is, for me, how it shows up. Inconsistency. The second point, how I struggle with it personally. The third point, how I think you can keep going with it, and my tips and tricks on how to sort that. How does it show up for me? That is an interesting question. Procrastination is one of the big ones. I talked about it in my last video, and just sometimes I am sat there, right, we're gonna make my life change, we're gonna go to the gym, we're gonna run, we're gonna do this, whatever it will be. For me, it was yeah, I'm gonna start running randomly. Did I keep up with it? Yes. Was it a bit of a harsh way of my ADHD brain to do that? Yes, it is, because I'm yeah, I'll start running. I got a whole watch for it as well. My watch is over there. I stayed consistent for it for about 2 months, but then things got busy and I was yeah, I'll do it. And then I never did it again. So yeah, you kind of are in that loop of oh my god, yeah, doing this, staying consistent. Well, that went out the window. I have a bracelet business I wanted to start up, but unfortunately I haven't, to legal reasons for it. I'm not 18 at the moment currently, or making this video, so there's a whole thing about that and it stopped me wanting to do it. But I want to do it again when I'm 18. That's another freaking example. Another one I have had as well is just editing. So I had a whole fan base in editing. I was yes, in the summer holidays I was just going to do a bunch of editing and get it done with, right? And yeah, we're going to post it this time consistently, but I didn't. I didn't do it. Oopsies. So with ADHD, you say things and you never come to do it. How do I struggle with it? It makes me feel down, I admit that. And sometimes they're how am I not like someone else? I'd compare myself all the time, especially with revision and GCSEs. That's why I didn't really pass some of them. I just couldn't keep up with it. It was too much for my brain to handle. I was never good at exams. I was always better at coursework personally. Every person's different, but for me it was that. I think in relationships as well, having a decent relationship, I never really understood it and how it worked. I'd more chase the intensity of them and they weren't the most healthy ones. So yeah, that was not good. And it got boring anyway, so I just was well, this is not for me. And yeah, as ADHD brains, the thing is to say we rely on dopamine, we rely on rewards, and when we don't get that, it's very deflating. Especially with routines before. I wasn't the best at them. I'd just get bored and was yeah, but then I'd also thrive on them. For example, I do my hair every day, I do my skincare. Those are the two routines that I never drop, and that's because I guess it's something I'm working towards. One of the first points I'll say, how do I keep up with it, is I was doing therapy the other day, and the person I'll speak to, she was saying do something you're proud of. For me, I always stay consistent with my style and my skincare and showering all the time because it's something I'm proud of and something I want to keep doing. It's almost become a routine. It becomes natural. I don't get anxiety over it. Putting your goals towards it. When I do running, you want to weight, you want to lose 5 stone. Be right, I'm doing this because I want to do this. Just think of the results by the end of it. It might not work for everyone, but I think that's definitely one of the things that worked for me. Or when I'm feeling down, I'll record a video like this because I like talking to the camera, really. I like waffling, and it helps me. That motivates me to do other things and to get on with it. That's motivation. Consistency, for me, my brain's like a night owl. Not the most healthy idea, but I'd say starting things later on in the day, planning it throughout the day, because for me, I'm a night owl, so I literally am not a morning person. I can stay in bed for hours and then realize it's 3 p.m. and then realize I hadn't even done anything I needed to do for that day. Also a good one to do that until you get used to that cycle, and then you're able to do things in the morning. How do I stay consistent? Well, sleeping earlier for me is help, because I know I don't sleep hard every day. I get groggy if I don't. I mentioned it in my other previous video as well. Yeah. Okay, so those are the main points. Consistent, right. One thing I would avoid as well, do not set yourself 50 billion tasks. I do this, I'm yep, get up, shower, do this, do that. I only end up completing 2 on my list. Yeah, so set yourself 10 things a day to do. Do not go over that 10. This is what I've been told, because that's going to overwhelm you. And then you're going to beat yourself up because you've not done it. That's the worst thing you can do with ADHD, is like, yeah, I'll do that. And then you forget about it, or like you procrastinate on it because it's too much to do and it gives you anxiety, and you're there like, whoa, I need to start at the first bit. You know what I mean? So do not do that. That's one thing I would avoid. Again, do not force yourself to get up. Avoid doing that. And being like, the next day I'm going to get up like early, because you're not going to get up early, are you? Like, do you know what I mean? You say it all the time, and then the next day becomes the next day and you've still not done the first bit. It's like, oh my goodness me. So avoid that. But if you are going to do that and you want to, just set yourself small tasks every day, so then you build up on it and then it becomes a routine, if that makes sense. It's one of them. I'm still finding my way through it. To stay consistent is having like a little iPad. So with my iPad, or like a little gadget you like, right? Cute. It look cute, right? You can customize it and it'll make you want to do things. Maybe you can put your checklist on it or something, or like you'll be like, oh, I'm motivated, I can look at, organize your apps. It might help you give you a dopamine boost to stay consistent. Do you know what I mean? Or if like you're writing, you're like, oh, right here, got my little Apple Pencil. Yeah, that's great. I do that. Again, having something you're proud of to keep you going, to be consistent. Or like for me, my notes app works. If I'm writing checklists down, that keeps me consistent on certain things. I guess it depends what you want to do. Like, to be consistent with, maybe you want to be consistent at going to the gym, maybe you want to be consistent at an art project you're doing, or hobby. Just do little bits at a time. That's my best advice. And then it builds up to be like one big thing, or you'd hope it to be. Still figuring things out. So if I come up with more things, I'll probably mention it randomly in my videos in the next to come anyway. But yeah, those are my tips and tricks. That's what I struggle with. I hope it helps you guys, and in my next video I will be talking about the emotional side of ADHD and how I keep going with that. Next episode is going to be probably one of my favourite ones, because there's many things I can list. I've always got emotional in my lifetime. Thank you for watching, and I hope this helps you on your journey. I don't know, I've lost it.